the final topic of the week. We might end up breaking these out from Comically Gaming altogether eventually, but everybody
Yeah.
knows we end every show with a all spoilers segment. So we're going to do our comic book club around the Star Wars comics. Star Wars comics meaning the main line, the Star Wars title comics. They're up to, what is it, 29? Yeah,
29.
29 is the recent one. Grab her off the shelf.
Oh yeah.
So I just kind of wanted to briefly. I know Dirk caught up recently with all these books, and I think going forward, as the new issues come out, we'll do another comic book club about them. But the just kind of this current. This is full spoilers, everybody. If I didn't say that before, full spoilers. If you're in the middle of Star Wars comic books and you're not to issue 29 yet, check out. Thanks for watching the show. We'll see you next week. We
Yeah.
appreciate you. And check us out once you catch up. So that being said, we're in the middle of a Yoda storyline that is essentially placed before the current what's happening in those comics, because Luke is reading about his adventure in Obi-Wan's journals. So
Right.
if you've been reading Star Wars comics, you know that basically every 6 issues they bust into Obi-Wan's journals and have vintage Obi-Wan stories.
Badass.
Yeah, so far have been Obi-Wan on Tatooine, while 2-year-old Luke's walking around with the bruise or
Sick.
whatever. Or I mean, I'm sorry, the Larses. But and they've been great. They've been really cool. It's cool to think about this timeline where Obi-Wan lives in this area, obviously has to interact with people to go get groceries or whatever, and can't use his powers, can't let anybody know he's there, can't draw any attention to himself at all.
Right.
And just kind of the adventures that he has while that's going on. Those titles have been really good, I feel like.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, all the.
Phenomenal.
I mean, the whole series has been awesome, but yeah, the Obi-Wan stuff has been great too. And then with this, and it's cool what they can do with it, because now they can tell a Yoda story through Obi-Wan's journals or whatever, so they don't have to just stick to the Luke, Han, and Leia, what they're doing
totally.
right now.
Is it still Jason Aaron?
Yes.
God bless. He's kicking ass.
Yeah, totally. So, that being said, we've kind of talked about before, it's pretty crazy what they're letting Marvel get away with as far as breaking stories that of super big importance in the Star Wars universe. We had talked about before, essentially, in the first arc of this comic book, Luke meets Vader, before it ever happened in the movies.
Right.
Right. And Vader learns that Luke's his son, and all this stuff is pretty hardcore stuff. So, the thing that I was thinking about today as I was reading this book is that essentially Luke is reading about Yoda before he ever met him, before he had the moment where Yoda came in and pretended like he was a crazy little monster and then showed himself to Luke. So,
does that dilute how you feel about the movie, going back to watch it? Does it change your perception of how things play out?
I mean, if I'm totally honest with you, I feel like even in the old days before Disney was around, I felt like the expanded universe, to me, wasn't canon. The only thing that was canon was the 3 movies. Okay, right. And so ultimately, I still feel that way. The movies are it for me. The cartoons and comic books are fun, but the movies and the quality of them is what keeps me coming back to Star Wars. So, but that being said, we're way past that. Pandora's been out of that box for so long at this point now that I enjoy it. So to answer your question, no, it doesn't bug me to go back and watch the movies.
And there's just so much that you can put in those 3 films. To be able to expand past that, you have to sort of bend that that timeline just so you can be able to tell a story.
Yeah, for sure, of course. And but it just kind of shocks me. We're looking at drawings of Yoda having this adventure, and then but Luke can't even be picturing him in his head. You know what I mean? He probably pictures a human dressed in Jedi
Yeah.
robes or whatever. You know what I mean? As he's reading the book.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Yep.
totally.
Speaking of, I totally fell in love with Gracchus the Hutt.
Oh, sure. He's the one that collects the lightsabers and Jedi paraphernalia.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. He was
That
cool.
dude.
Yeah, and in that issue when our heroes were escaping and they had that one scene where everybody had a lightsaber because those were the only
Yeah.
weapons that were around. That was
Yes.
awesome. Yeah.
For sure.
Oh,
Yeah,
man.
that was awesome.
totally.
So
the
yeah,
art's phenomenal, too. I mean,
Yeah.
it's gorgeous.
absolutely. I really liked, as far as speaking of the art, and I'd have to look it up to see who the artist was, but the story arc that was around the prison that was really close to that star, and just that
Yeah.
whole 3 or 4 episodes or issues, the art
Yeah.
in that was so cool. I thought really, sparsely, almost like ink splatters because of
Yeah.
the blinding light coming through everything. I thought it was a really cool way to do that.
No, I think it's smart of Marvel to pay that much attention to it.
Yeah.
You know, to put that level of detail into a newly acquired but massive franchise is a smart play on
For
their
sure.
part.
For sure. So, anyways,
Definitely.
this comic book club being specifically around issue 29, I think we pretty much all just read it today or recently. Corey, had you read it before that?
Yeah, I read it a few days ago, I think.
Right. So, pretty cool. In the last issue, Yoda had gone into obviously he landed on this planet where things were weird. There were only kids outside. They were kind of savages who were soldiers. And then he went and met all the adults who had basically abandoned their children there. The adults had some weird thing where they were just stuck in this mountain and didn't want to leave. They had their whole thing inside there. And then Yoda finds the heart of the mountain at the very end of that issue and realizes that the mountain's alive. So,
It's
basically
actually a giant.
You
Yeah,
are
right.
less than a bug to me.
right? Totally. So yeah, for this issue, Yoda goes full on, wakes the mountain up, and then when he tries to leave, he doesn't want to tell the adults about it because he knows that the adults are twisted and weird at that point. He's saying it's dark side of the force, even though they're force sensitive or whatever because of this mountain. And yeah, just pretty cool. I feel like the storyline's decent. I was thinking it would be something different with Yoda when they announced this. Several months back before it all started, they were saying that this is going to be the earliest Yoda story out. So this is all before the events of the prequels and things like that. But so I kind of envisioned something different of it. This is just a side story. You know what I mean, of one of his adventures or whatever. But it's been cool so far.
Yeah, I like it so far. Honestly, it's of all the arcs so far. I think it's probably my least favorite as far as the story has gone so far.
Right.
What was the first arc was them going after that weapon manufacturer.
Yeah.
And then the second one, running into Vader.
Yep.
And then the second one was Han, and his wife
Ex-wife.
or whatever, ex-wife.
yeah.
And then the Stormtroopers was really awesome. And then
I really like the Stormtroopers. Yeah.
Yeah, but totally cool. All their different their special team with all their different weapons and stuff. That was awesome. This one has been so far. I feel like the least.
So
not to say it isn't, not to take away from it. I really like it, but I liked the past 3 more. I think
I agreed with you 100%, but my hopes are actually risen at the end of this when Luke goes to the planet that he's reading about.
Yeah.
And somebody comes out who you assume is probably the kid that Yoda was hanging out with, but they don't really say that sort of thing. And so now Luke and Yoda's storyline is tied together. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
From whatever, 100 years or whatever difference or whatnot. So, and ultimately, Luke was going, before this all started, he's going chasing down R2-D2, who is chasing down C-3PO, who the Stormtrooper crew has hostage.
Yeah.
Right? So he was like, at the end of that whole Star Destroyer arc, they captured C-3PO, and and R2D2 took off by himself to go get him, and Luke's chasing him down. So you know what I mean? I feel like this could build to something cooler, also.
For sure. Yeah.
I like the fact that it doesn't. Some elements of it don't even feel like Star Wars. It just feels like straight on sci-fi. You know, like occasionally Star Wars can get trapped into just feeling like Star Wars.
For
like
sure.
you are just in there. But there are some elements of this where, I mean, it almost felt like Dune, or you know, like
I agree, or Mad Max.
Yeah, it's spreading out, and I like that.
That
means that there's room for it to grow, and there's a lot more, I think, creator input outside of that master vision, you know, that happened early on.
Definitely.
For sure.
Definitely. Agree.
Yeah.
Which is, I think, good for the future of Star Wars within Marvel, if they keep it with this model.
Yeah, definitely. All right, so that's it. You know, ended with Luke being approached by that guy. Anybody else have any other things to hit on with this issue?
That's it, man. I can't wait to hit 30.
Good to go. Yeah, we'll talk about 30 when it comes out. So we go pretty deep on like the history of Star Wars up to this point. I think in the future we'll try and maybe do some 5-minute videos when the new issues come out and just talk through that particular issue from there. And you know, we'll evolve the comic book club as it goes.
Comic Club next 2 weeks from now. Y'all want to shoot for Jessica Jones?
Jessica Jones. We'll catch up.
Yep.
Do it. All right.
100%.
Sure.
Okay, everybody.
All right.
Stuck through the whole show. Thank you very much for watching. Dirk, thanks for joining us.
Y'all have a good one, man.
Appreciate
I'll see y'all next Thursday.
All right. Yeah, for the Labyrinth Lifers, episode 4.
Labyrinth Lifers. All right, brothers.
Yep.
All right, man.
Later.
Yep. Bye, everybody.
See ya.